guys, so I'm back today with a book haul, and I've got about 6, maybe 8, 10, what was it, 6? I got a couple books that I want to show you guys, and some of them are from Target, some I got at Goodwill, and some I got at Books A Million. I was actually at Books A Million this morning, and I got 2. Believe it or not, Goodwill has some pretty legit books. Like, they're really cheap and they're in pretty decent condition. I didn't expect to find as many books as I did. The majority of the books that I got came from Goodwill, but they were in pretty good condition and they were $2, $3, maybe even $4. So yeah, let's just start with the books that I got from Books A Million. And the first book that I got is The Stand by Stephen King, and it has a really nice shiny cover. I actually saw 2 covers for this book. The first one looked like more of an old school cover, and I want to say that it had a man on a horse, but I could be wrong. This one just has a bunch of dead people on the road, just hanging out, dead. So this book is about a man who escapes from a research facility and has a mutated strain of the flu that will potentially destroy 99% of the population within a couple of weeks. So the people in the story are freaking out, they don't know what's going on, they're scared, and they need a leader. They need someone to follow. So 2 people emerge as leaders in this story, one of them being a 108-year-old lady named Mother Abigail, and the other one a nefarious dark man named Randall Flagg. And, you know, I've never read any of Stephen King's books before. I actually had a book that belonged to my sister called Everything's Eventual. I can't remember the name of the book, but I always carried it around. I always wanted to read it. I never got around to. And I checked out this book to, you know, see what the reviews were for it. I mean, the synopsis for me sounded really interesting, so I figured I like these kind of movies and TV shows, so I figured why not read a book about it, and that's kind of why I picked it up. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody and their mother has heard about this book, and if you haven't, you're going to hear about it from me. It is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I've heard a lot of great things about this book. I have read a lot of great things about this book. I've had this book recommended. I have heard it everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. This book is everywhere. And if you haven't read it, maybe you should read it because apparently everybody else is reading it. So, to be honest, when I read this synopsis and when I read the reviews online, it didn't really grasp my attention. It kind of seemed a little redundant in the way that most plots are these days. Like, I find that I see a lot of stories with the same kind of idea to them, and I hate that because I want to read something different. I want to read something that no one has ever come up with before. So when I read this, my first thought was, oh, this is just like any other book that I've read before. But it was kind of interesting, just a tiny bit. And it was enough for me to decide that I was going to buy it and read it. I mean, the story is about a girl named Clare Frey, and she basically sees a bunch of teenagers murder this one person that just mysteriously disappears. She freaks out, she starts telling everybody about it, calls the police, and for some reason, they can't see what she saw, which is kind of trippy. Like, it kind of made me want to know what's going on and why can she see these people. So, I mean, I'm going to give it a try. I'm gonna read it, and if I like it, I'll just continue on with the series. If I don't, then that'll be the end of that. The next 2 books I got were from Target, and the first one is Moloka'i by Alan Brennert, and this cover is amazing. Like, when I first saw this cover, I was like, wow, it's really pretty, and I want it, because it was so pretty. It has a picture of a girl, and it has like flowers on the top and flowers on the bottom, and you know, before I even read the synopsis, I knew that this book was coming home with me. Like, I knew I had to have this book, and I bought it. But, you know, when I read the synopsis, I found out that it's about a girl who contracts leprosy, and she's sent off into this island, this part of this island called Moloka'i on the island of Kalaupapa. It's Hawaiian, so sorry if I butchered that. But she gets sent off to this quarantined part of the island where all the other people that have leprosy are, and she's basically just sent out there to die. Like, you get sent out there because you're sick, you're gonna die, and they don't want everyone else to get infected. And that's what they did to her. And it's just basically about what happens while she's living on that island, and you know, her experiences. And it was a really interesting synopsis for me. You know, I really liked the cover, and then the synopsis itself was really interesting. I don't know too much about leprosy, so I figured I want to get to know what this is all about, so I got this book. So the next book I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with because it was made into a movie, and it is The Help by Kathryn Stockett. And it's basically about a black maid who kind of gives her perspective as to what it is to be a black maid in the South. And you know, the previews from the movie seemed really, really interesting, and it seemed really funny, so I figured why not pick this one up along with the other one that I got. So I got it. The next book I got was The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. And wow, this book definitely makes you think about God, and it makes you think about religion, and it makes you question them, and makes you wonder whether any of the stuff that's in the Bible or anything like that is even true. Because after I read this book, that's the first thing I was thinking about. Is that even true? Like, is any of the stuff that I read in the Bible, like, is it real? So when I read this book, I had so many questions, and I was just like, my mind was just blown away. So I bought this book as a means to read it again, and you know, to have a copy of it, because when I did read it the first time, it wasn't my copy. So definitely check out this book because it's a really, really good book. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, watch the movie, read the book, it's good stuff. This next book I also got from Goodwill, and it's by John Berlau, and it's called Eco Freaks. It basically seems like it tells you a lot about what it is to be eco-friendly. I'm not eco-friendly. I don't know very much about being eco-friendly, so I thought I'd pick this book up, maybe learn a thing or two. And I mean, the cover just looks really amusing, really funny. I figured it'd be a funny read, so I got this one too. Eco Freaks. The title even sounds funny, so I was like, why not? Think Twice by Lisa Scottoline. And it's basically about these twins, one of them named Alice and the other one named Benny. And Alice is kind of like the evil twin sister that buries her sister alive and tries to, I guess, take over her life and live her life, because her life is a mess, a hot mess. So she takes over her twin sister's life, Benny's, and when she buries her alive, she kind of doesn't think that her sister's going to come back from the dead or come back at all. So to her surprise, she finds out that her sister does come back, and you know, her sister starts kind of trying to get revenge on her sister for kind of burying her, trying to kill her. And you know, then Benny realizes that she's as evil as her sister. You know, she has that evil tendency just like her sister does. And you know, this story just seemed really interesting. I mean, it caught my attention that one twin sister was trying to kill the other twin sister and living her life. So I picked this one up as well. And then the next book, which is the last, that's also from Goodwill, is The Memory Keeper's Daughter by Kim Edwards. And please excuse this ginormous sticker. Yeah, that's like one of the disadvantages of getting a book from Goodwill. They come with all these interesting stickers, but hey, it was 99 cents? $1? $1.99? I don't know. But yeah, this book seems like it's going to be a really, really good book. I read the synopsis, and it's about a doctor who has to deliver his own twins, and the first twin is a boy and he's born healthy, fine. The second twin is a girl, and immediately once the baby is delivered, he notices the signs of, you know, Down syndrome. And instead of being like any normal parent and, you know, accepting the fact that your kid is born with a disorder, he decides that he wants to send the kid off to an institution. He gives the kid to Caroline, which is his nurse, to take to an institution. And it's like, what were you thinking? Why would you do that? Like, any other person would have just kept the child and just dealt with it and gotten the extra support that they need. But he just sent the child off thinking it was the best thing to do. And instead of Caroline taking the child to an institution, she moves to another city, leaves the city, goes somewhere else, and she raises the child as her own. So I'm definitely interested in finding out, you know, what happens to the girl and how she struggles with Down syndrome. You know, I'm a psychology major, so I was actually reading up on Down syndrome for a test that I had this morning, and I really think that this is going to be a really good book, so definitely check it out if you haven't already.